Happy holidays! Welcome back to Homeboundlets. It's me, Cherish, and I am so excited to show you the Christmas dress that I have been working on. I have been planning it for months, and seeing it all come together is just... But I am getting ahead of myself. Last year, I made a GunneSaxmas dress for my small child. Gwen Shenanigans made a Saxoween dress, and then like, okay, let's do something again in the winter time for the winter holidays. Oh, that was terrible. I'm sorry. She doesn't sound like that. She doesn't sound like that. But yes, so a group of sewers on YouTube made some GunneSaxmas dresses, and just winter themed dresses, and they were yummy and beautiful. And I made one for my child because she's small and faster and cheaper to sew for. And also, like, I wasn't really feeling great about my body and trying to figure out how to put a dress on it. So I didn't make one for myself, which is a little bit sad. Like, I feel like, yes, primary reasons why we didn't do it is because it would have been very expensive, and I had just lost my job, and yeah, but also, yeah, I think maybe was a little too depressed to make a dress for myself, which is sad. But since making that video, I have not only been working on my fitness and gaining lots of muscles and confidence, but I also have been making more things for myself. I made a garden sex dress, where I kind of figured out how to adjust things for the boobs. And then that really, like, I made this outfit to wear for sewing things. And like that one really clicked. And like, okay, this is how I adjust things for my boobs. And like that part of the dress is great. It's a little, at the moment, it's a little big and it falls off when I wear it. So I'll have to foray into adjusting things in the future, but in the meantime, so I had these pieces of dresses that I knew would work, and I suspected that I could whip together to make a beautiful dress, a beautiful GunneSax dress. And also another thing that I did this year was I really got into crocheting. I had crocheted a little bit before, and then this year I did my first Amigurumi, I don't know how to say it, but like 3D crocheting. So I learned how to just make stuffed animals, and it's been really fun, like just making nerdy things that my family will love. And also I made my first, the video is coming out later, but I made my first granny square blanket, which I never made a granny square before, and then I was like, would it be silly to combine these dressmaking skills that I have been working on and improving with these crocheting skills that I have been working on and improving into one beautiful dress? Could be great. What if we combined granny squares and crocheting with a GunneSax style dress and made a GrannySax dress? And what if it looks sort of like Mrs. Claus, so it's more of a Mrs. Claus cosplay, and it could be a GranneSaxmas dress? And so the idea was here, we had the materials, we had the know-how, let's do it. I have finished the base of the dress. This is a bit of a mashup. We have the bodice portion came from the Amelie puff dress, which I can link, and I used that I had made for my sewing outfit, my Frizzle Color sewing outfit, and I lengthened the shoulders. And then the waistband is modified from, it's a, I think a simplicity pattern that I used for the canary dress, and then I modified for the garden sex dress. But yeah, I don't think we use any of those modifications. It's most of the dress is the pattern that I used for the canary dress, except for the waistband. I shortened, like the waistband goes like up and it meets in a point, and I flattened that out. And then the sleeves are from the Amelie puff dress that the bodice is from, except for they're not, because one, they didn't have long sleeves, so I was going to make them longer, but I didn't have enough fabric. Like, the width was too much. I didn't have enough fabric to cut 2 sleeves out at that width, so I condensed them, and I would have liked them to be a little bit longer, but I didn't have enough fabric, so I added the cuff to sort of make up the difference with the scraps. So the sleeves are kind of loosely based off of the Amelie, but I made them up. And overall, I kind of love it, and I think one of these days I am going to have to make another one just like this, maybe in a different color, that I'm not going to decorate and just have a really comfy, pretty house dress, because this flannel is so soft and it feels like it's not constricting. It's just comfortable. It feels like I'm wearing just lovely pajamas. It's great. My only real complaint, well, it would throw off the grain line, but I would probably cut this on the fold instead of having a seam run down the front the next time. And also, I didn't have enough fabric to make it long enough, so it's a little above my ankles, which is not ideal for a fun little winter dress. But I was planning on doing like a crocheted cuff around the bottom. I was just thinking that I would have fabric underneath it, so it's just going to be dangling over open air. Anyway, so the bulk of the dress, the base of the dress, not the bulk, because the dress came together in a few hours, but what comes next is gonna take days. I hope not more than days, but it's gonna take more time, because the next step is running some stitches along. So I will be running and trying to back stitch it so that it'll hold up to the wash. So a running back stitch maybe. I don't know. I don't know hand sewing terms, but well enough. So I've always just kind of done what works. So we'll just try to make it strong and secure, but I need to put some stitches in so I can have a place to crochet off of, because this is just like the canvas. This work was just to make the canvas. Now we're going to decorate it. Okay, I guess an all flannel dress has problems. Oh no. Trying to remember if I sewed them in like poorly, or if I'm gonna have that problem everywhere. I did have to retry it a few times because I kept getting it crooked. Well, guess I have something to fix before I go on and do all the other things. Part of the waistband pulled out of the waistband, and I wasn't really able to get at it, so I serged the bit that I could, and then I hand sewed that down. I got so carried away and so excited about having a serger that I serged everything, which serging is the right thing to do, but it's not the only right thing to do. So here, this was just the back liner, so this has been serged. What I should have done is I should have serged every piece without sewing it together, and then sewn it together, and then you felled, is that what felling is? Felled down the edges like that. It would have taken way longer, but I would be a lot more confident about its ability to hold up in a wash. So next time, that's what I'll do. In the meantime, all of the details that I'm adding, for the most part, are going to be going through at least 2 layers of fabric. So hopefully that'll take some of the strain off of the seams and help keep it together. But last night, you can even see this. So the lighting in this spot is not good. You know, I can just move this. What? Amazing. Okay. Still not great, but better. Okay. Last night I spent several hours just doing a little hand sewing along here. And then I got like this far and I thought, oh, I should probably have folded that over so I have more than one layer of fabric. But oh no, I've come this far, so I'm going to keep going, which was silly because then of course I woke up like 5 a.m. thinking, oh, I really should have done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to waste everything I did yesterday and I am going to just properly hem it. But when I run the hem, I'm going to get the stitch as long as I can, and then I'm going to see if that works to crochet off of the machine stitch, and if so, then I can probably do most of the dress with the machine stitch instead of hand stitching everything and then hand crocheting everything. The crocheting is going to take long enough. We're trying to get the time down as much as we can because I was really hoping to have this done. I was really hoping to have all of my Craftmas projects done by early November so I could spend all of November like getting reveal shots and editing. And then my child was sick for like most of October. And then November came along and she got the flu. So yeah, I have not had as much time as I wanted to devote to these. I'm gonna sing. To devote to getting all of my crafts done. So now we have, it is the week before Thanksgiving, so got to run and trying to get all of my projects done. This is my smallest crochet hook, and this is my longest stitch length on my sewing machine. And yeah, I can't get under that. So that means that I'm not going to be able to run my crochet lines with the sewing machine. So we have lots of hand stitching in our future. If you take a tapestry, or in this case an awl, and sort of wiggle up or pull up the thread, and I'm skipping one so it doesn't get too tight. It is a pain. It's not fast. It's not straightforward, but I think it is quicker than hand sewing around the whole hem, because the hem is going to take forever no matter what. number one is I am definitely wearing the wrong bra for this. Problem number two is I need to do more with this collar here. So I gotta make this bigger, so add some more decoration. And I need to tack it down, but I always knew that I was gonna need to do that. This granny square panel thing is a lot. And the waistband is beautiful. And I think I will utilize this technique elsewhere in the dress, but it's just too much right here. So I think I'm gonna strip this back and have either nothing or just like a single crochet maybe. Just, oh, come on, focus. Focus on my boobs, sorry. Just not much here because it's just too much. It's just too much. I might hold off on taking this off until I make this bigger though, because I might feel differently if this is bigger. It's just too small. Yeah. Kind of feel like this big panel is the problem. But let's start with the collar because the collar is too small. Okay. And then the other problem, which we kind of knew it was a problem, is that this, the dress is still too short. Yeah. So we have this, I think I just need to add more, like an inch more. I don't want it to go all the way to the ground because it'll get dirty, but right now it's pretty high up. So I was thinking I needed to, but I was also thinking I didn't know if it would look good, but now that we see it all together, I think it does need it. So I think I'm going to add this to the bottom and then maybe get rid of it here. And also see if I can add this like as another layer to the collar. Double layered collar. I kept it all the same color because I wanted to not have to sew in a million ends. I didn't want to have to work in a million ends. And also I really wanted to lean in more of a Mrs. Claus core, partly because I don't think I can pull off a lot of cosplaying. I feel like I could maybe pull off Mrs. Claus. I was also I shouldn't say this and then maybe next year I'll do it, but maybe I'll do it next year anyway. I was thinking about trying to crochet like a Mrs. Claus wig, but the time and the yarn supply hath got away, so maybe next year we'll do full-on Mrs. Claus. When I sewed the granny squares together, I purposely did it so that they'd have the seam edge like very pronounced, because I like the look of it, and I wanted to make sure that it looked delicious and blankety, and I think it worked well. And then adding on the scalloped edges and the decorative edges, just, it looks like gingerbread frosting. It just was so, like, it was so fun to work on this project because like every step was like yes, yes, this is working, this is beautiful, I'm so excited. And then it was done, and putting it on for the first time was really funny because all of the crochet that I added to it made it really heavy, but it wasn't only like in certain sections where it was really heavy. So you know those water snake things, those toys that like are just like it's like a tube of water and it just kind of slides through, and like you're a kid and you're like this is a dirty toy, and then you're a grown-up and you're like, yeah, that's a dirty toy. It felt like trying to put on one of those because it was so like the weight distribution is weird. But yeah, and then I put it on. I lived my Mrs. Claus fantasy. I'm still gonna need a Mrs. Claus wig, so I might have to make that maybe next Craftmas. But in the meantime, more Craftmas videos coming. I don't know that anything is going to be as exciting as this dress because this is my new favorite thing, but more exciting things coming and fun things coming in the new year, I hope. So yeah, follow me, and yeah, maybe I'll try and make more sewing. I know that I haven't been doing as many sewing videos lately because it just takes time and money, but it is something that I would like to do a bit more. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!